just jumped in the water, and it's glacier water. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday, Native Wellness Institutes. We come here every week. Nistu Nidaniko Makoyo Sakoi. Oh my goodness gracious. We come every week, and we come to bring positive, productive, and proactive dialogue to bring wellness into our life, and to bring behavior of wellness. And, with our mind, body, and our spirit, and our soul, and our, all of our, those of you who declare sobriety, or those of you who have, elevated yourself through ceremonial practices for generations in your family. I was, I tell you, the water is, what would you say? Um, White people do cold plunges. Indians just jump in the glacier lake. And so anyway, I'll have to just show you where I put this top on, because, ladies, you're not supposed to show your cleavage, eh? Especially if it's way down there by your knees, eh? Anyway, this I just want to share with you, because you should go jump in the water, or go tell someone to take a short, shore. Jump in the lake. Like, okay, so look at this lake. Oh gosh, I brought out my favorite summer, Indian towels. And I just jumped in. You could see how clear it is. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Welcome. We come every week on Native Wellness Institute. We're a 501c3. We've been a 501c3 for 26 years now. Before that, we were at the University of Oklahoma. We always brought every kind of training: men in wellness, women in wellness, two-spirit in wellness. We just had wellness going on. And now everybody in this time in our world, with things changing, and it prompted me to think about, we hear it's climate change. We hear that things are changing. And I took a long walk. We're getting ready for Sundance here. There's one of our Buster Yellow Kidney and Joe Ironman have prayers that have been going on, I think, since 1982, eh? And now it's been given to Nolan and given to Russell and his family, and all the Ganaxtima does. They've been building camp, and so we have that going on. We have tomorrow, you're all welcome to come. We're having, and I think it's the 5th annual Two-Spirit parade for Pride Month in Browning, Montana. Raven, Heavy Runner, and all the gang have organized that, but they have cars and everyone's. So I'm bringing my ally flag, and and I sometimes it just makes me freaking want to cry, because I'm a single mother, and I've raised everyone I'm gonna raise, but my one daughter that I raised, that was Two-Spirit, and I don't know where she is right now. But my prayers are there, and I have faith. Her addiction takes her now and then. And it just, so say prayers for me, because a mother's heart hurts so badly, and there's not much you can do. She's 47 now, so she's grown. She calls, we have a boundary. We have a boundary that she can only call when she's clean and sober. And she hasn't checked in a while. And it may not be bad. She might be in a relationship. She might be all kinds of stuff. She does. But I just say a prayer for me. Because I'm at that stage, and that's what the topic of today is pacing. Like the climate change, we can't make the berries ripe. We cannot make the medicine ready. We can't pick the sage when it's not ready, you know. And just like with human beings are the same way. We can't say, okay, by December 31st, you're going to be mature. Punk ass. Some of them never mature. I mean, you know. So we can't, the pacing of, you know, growing as a human, growing as a plant, growing as medicine, growing, you know, everyone wants indigenous knowledge. I'll give you indigenous knowledge. I'll put you up on chief for 8 days without food and water. Hey, because sometimes, I mean, I hear, you know, Heart Butte Mountain or Katoyis, they used to put, people would fast out there for 6, 7, 8 days until they had a good dialogue with Ishtabapio. And then they would have a turnaround in their behavior, a pacing. So I think about that, and I was just saying to myself, dang, I don't think well, I better not say that, but I don't think I could fast 4 days, but unless I had to. Because I like my roll. That's why I'm enrolled. I'm enrolled in the Blackfeet tribe because I got a big roll. Those that are just bony, they can't enroll. Because they ain't got a roll. Anyway, there's your blood quantum for you. But I just, you know, say a prayer. My daughter's name is Matumspi. Buster Yellow Kidney named her that. It means first dancer. First dancer, because when she was very, very young, long time ago, there was no young people coming to the Sundance. There was, you know, older people, and we were Sundancing, but there was no, you know, young, like under 25. And so when she, I think it was in the year 2000, so that's, God, 26 years ago, we were out on the south side, and she had this dream, and Buster had the same dream, and he was getting sick then because he left us. He crossed over then. They had the same dream, and I think it was Spotted Bull. Anyway, Spotted Bulls were there, and there was Johnny Dayrider, all kinds of our. And he's 2 wives, because there's still some Blackfeet men with 2 wives, 3 wives. Jays, there's still some Blackfeet men with 6 wives, Sits beside, and then the rest are not so pretty, they're just workers, I'm just teasing. But they had the same dream, and he came down, and that was when it was exactly so that's when he named her Matumspi. So she was the first dancer that, you know, in a long time that had come back to dance and to sacrifice for the people. And that's that pacing, you know, the Okon, the medicine lodges, the sun dances, all the ceremonies going on. Say the prayers for those people in there, because they're praying for all the people. Because not all the people, some people are, you know, drunk in the streets or behind, you know, got second DUI, and some people are just shopping. I was thinking about, if I choose a really, that's a good addiction, I'll just be shopping. Just shopping. At secondhand stores. Travel all the secondhand stores across the United States of America and just shop. Ooh, I love my mom loves secondhand stores. You just want to make her happy. Don't give her no time limit. Take her to that secondhand store. She loves Value Village in Lethbridge. She loves all of the secondhand stores at Whitefish. Anyway, so they had that same dream, and that was the pacing. So I have that faith, because I know, you know, addiction to drugs and alcohol and other addictions, it has no respecter of, you know, race, color, creed, or age. And I understand that now, because I tried every way I could with my daughter to help her get sober. And she did, Native American connections. She stayed sober a good 4 years. And so there's a pattern. So, at my age and where I am with my own wellness, I can't go running in front of anyone and my Al-Anon and my Alateen, I can't do that anymore. And she knows that, I told her I can't I can't send you any more money. I can't rescue you, but you have my prayers daily. And so that's the pacing. So she's probably just fine. I mean, I think, we parents worry unnecessarily, right? Any parents out there, do you worry because we love them. We love them and we want them to have good lives. We love them. We want them to be independent. We love them. It's your birthright to thrive and to live joy. We want all of our children, the children we make, the children we adopt. We want all of those children to have a safe place. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday, Native Wellness Institute. And so I was visiting with my long-term friend from Wyoming. We had a really good visit because she's taking the day off. And I told her, I said, I'm getting ready for company because I'm excited. I haven't seen one of my granddaughters since she was a baby, and she's 7 years old. Her name is Avery, and she's coming to visit me. So what do? I get her own little chair. See it's a Canadian chair. She's not Canadian, but she only knows Alaska. She only knows living out in the bush, kind of Alaska. But I told her, anyway, I said, Grandma has a chair for you. So when everyone's praying and singing and dancing at the Sundance, if you get a little bit tired, you can sit in your chair and you can pray. Anyway, we'll have that whole discussion. I'm really excited because I think I get to see her tomorrow. I'm hoping tomorrow, if not the next day, because they're just flying from Alaska. But I got her chair, and I was thinking about the pacing because she knows about me. She, sees me on FaceTime. She sees me in things, but she hasn't hugged me or really felt me. And so I'm getting really excited that her two moms, because she has two moms raising her, that they're bringing her. And so then I was just looking at. I got out some of the summer rugs. Check out these summer rugs. My mom used to have this one, this Sitasisu, this moose. And this rug I really love. And then I got out my Harold Belmont Suquamish flag. And I'm flying it out because there's going to be some boats. Some boats will be coming here. People will be coming for 4th of July. And people are just camping. There's a lot of campgrounds around here. So I even put up the Blackfeet flag. So I have my brother Ira's veteran flag. He gave it to me. He's was in the Air Force for 6 years, stationed in Germany. And he just moved back home a few months ago with his family. So anyway, I'm decorating. So this pacing that I wanted to talk to you. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. And I started as I was walking because the berries are off season right now. They're the Savas berries, the bullberries, even the choke cherries. But I was looking at the Savas berries, and some of you call them Saskatoon. And they're just little green things right now. But I did find one that had some color, like there was a little bit of crimson. So that means the berries will probably be ready to pick. It might be 3 weeks. It might be a month. It might, it's been raining so much. So there's going to be lots of berries. I believe lots of berries, but I was just saying, wow, usually by now you can start eating them, and it's making my mouth water because, oh, I love Savis berries. And, remember that first berry, that first berry, to take it and to take some time to say a long prayer with your first berry, the first ripe berry. Istibatapi, Spumukana, Kiayo, and Baksikwe. Pray for the bear. Pray for the bear that he doesn't get hurt by any tourists. Pray for the bear that they have plenty to eat. Pray for the Kiayo that there's abundance and no one goes hungry. You can say all your prayers with that first berry. And then you dig a hole in the black dirt and you put your berry in there. And so that'll be a while before I have, we reignite that treaty that we have with our Saskatoon and our Savis berries. And that's why in some of our ceremonies, the berries are so important. The berries are just very significant. And the berry juice, ooh, again, it's making my mouth water. And I'm coming to you, I just like to ask you to say prayers for Native Wellness Institute. We're doing our youth warrior camp at Grand Round right now. So some of our larger team is over there. I think we got 125 kids. And they're just, probably eating salmon. Will's probably cooking salmon. And Wade's probably got him up on the rope. I mean, it's just, anyway, that's say prayers. But then if you're looking at me, we used to call this, if your nose was all red like this, would say, that one person with the wino nose? Shoot, I've been sober 38 years. I haven't drank no wine, but why do I have a wino nose? Because I just jumped in the water, and I have right here is a precancerous basal cell carcinoma. Precancerous. And they froze it, so they freeze it, the dermatologist. And then shortly after this, I'm going to put the medicine on, and I've been putting Band-Aids on it and protecting it. So I washed it off, and I was praying to, the water spirits to please not let there be any cancer. So say some prayers for me. So that's why I have a wino nose. Usually Indians that have a wino nose have had a rough life. A challenging life. The ones that have an all perfect one, they ain't Indian. You gotta have a wino nose. Anyway, it's all, I was just saying, oh yeah, kind of, and I ain't got no makeup on. Somehow my lips always get lipstick on it. Because I'm a badass auntie, no matter what, the badass auntie be looking rough. She might be even thrown in jail. She'll still have her lipstick on. It's just in my family. My mom always wore, she's 88. She still wears red lipstick. And she has a red truck. And she likes to have red shoes. Just like Cecilia Fire Thunder. There was a time where we wore red cowboy boots to everything, every talk. Wellness and women. We'd have 2,000 Indian women, and we'd have red cowboy boots on. So go get your red cowboy boots. Get a red bathing suit. Get some red underwear. Get a red bra. Get a red dress. It's a power color. Women, we gotta stand up. You gotta, come on, don't be whip ass. Get up and wear red. Anyway, I was just thinking, I think I still have a pair of red cowboy boots. And Cecilia Fire Thunder and I were going to have a reunion at a summit in Wyoming and Riverton. She's going to be the speaker, and I'm coming, and she doesn't travel much, and I said, Cecilia, this is be really good because we can invite all the women that used to come to Phoenix 2000. We can invite all the women that used to come to Portland and the LGBTQ2 spirit, because it's about liberation of your spirit, that pacing of where you grow and where you mature. So anyway, we got a plan. And then to top it off, I'm bringing Mom. Mom and I are going on vacation, and we're going at Mom's pacing. because she wants to go see Indian Relay at the Frontier Days in Wyoming. That's like like September. I think it's September 25th, 26th, and 27th at the Frontier Days. It's her dream to go there. So we already got tickets. We already got the Red Lion has, a rate for Indians coming to Indian Relay. Woohoo! But I just got off the phone with her and I go, well, Mom, why don't we make it a vacation? Because we were thinking about flying, but it's so uncomfortable for her to fly and to sit anyway. So I said we'll make it a vacation where we just drive, and if you get tired, Mom will just pull over and get a hotel. So anyway, there'll be a route. So unless you got a nice comfortable bedroom between Bab and Riverton, Wyoming, we'll stay at your place. No, geez. Just inviting ourselves. I like to make it comfortable. So I said, yeah, Mom, because she always loved to just go on road trips like that. And so I'm just excited. So I was out walking. I go, ooh, it's Wellness Wednesday. Woohoo! Native Wellness Institute, the teachings of our ancestors to keep it alive. So I jumped in the lake and I was washing my face and I go, ooh, shit. So I jumped out, and threw this on over the bathing suit, and I just came. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday. So what else can we say about that would help us with pacing? When raising our children, it's, I was around a new relative, Quinley Grace Guzman, just born. So precious yesterday when you're around brand new babies. And so that pacing, when a child is 2 years old, we're not going to expect them to do 10-year-old things. When a child is 7 years old, they call it age appropriate. But what's age appropriate for 35? Because you hear Indians, they'll say, oh, that's just childish. They're just acting childish. And they're 55. 55 and still so that that pacing of maturity, how do you mature? Well, we know for those of us when we're in our addictions, I can remember being in treatment and they were saying whenever you took your first drink, that's when you stop maturing. So if you took it at 12 and you didn't quit till you're 40, so then when you're 41 and sober, you're a 13-year-old. That's why a lot of people in early recovery act like a frickin' teenager. Just snagging around, hurting everyone's feelings, running people in relationships. Knock that off. Woo, that's where it deserves an anti-slap. Don't be playing with people's heart like that. You've got to mature. And if you made a vow or how do you have a long-term relationship? You see this plant behind me, they used to say if you keep a plant alive for over a year, or you get a dog or a cat and you keep them alive, you have to learn to take care of other people and then take care of yourself. That's why, if all your plants die, you shouldn't be in no relationships, eh? If your dogs keep dying, they take the spiritual hit, jump in front of it for you. You're doing something. If all your dogs are, 15 dogs, another one just died, bit the dust. Res dogs resurrect. Yeah. Reservation dogs resurrect. Anyway, that pacing, I had a meditation the other day. It said, I had a beautiful life up till 10 years old, and then it became a beautiful life after 70, but the in-between was pretty rough. So, what's the pacing? Is there, so think about that from the time you're born, till you're 10 years old. And it is, I was just thinking about my 11-year-old grandson, how the world, he's talking about the universe, and, the 7-year-old painting and drawing. And I was just, when you're that age, you see the world differently. You see it in a positive light. You see it you're excited. It's just like, it's 4th of July, and my relatives just had a grand opening of a fireworks. And they're going to call it Dougie Boom Boom. Because he like boom boom, Dougie Boom Boom. But he was so excited. When you're that age, you're excited about life. There's nothing, nothing that can damper your spirit. It's just like you're alive. You're excited about things. You're excited about sports. You're excited about cross country. You're excited about hockey. You're excited about basketball. It's like this soccer mania around our world. People are excited about soccer. I like it, but when you're 10 years old, and then you're easily pleased, a slice of good pizza, a hot dog, just like, yay, hot dog with relish and mustard, yay, these simple pleasures in life, that pacing, and then something happens, in adulthood, teenage. My mom, we were talking, and we were saying about because the new grandchildren just moved home, and my mom said, we got to help them, and we got to help raise all the grandchildren, not just your grandchildren, but it's to contribute, so I was just thinking, and I said, yeah, because totally got to see the world through that 8-year-old's eyes. You got to see the world, for that 12-year-old, but what happens in those years in the pacing? What are the rites? And so maybe it's almost a discussion of rites of passage. What are the rites of passage? And so welcome to Wellness Wednesday. What are your rites of passage? I was just telling my friends and my family, I said, I don't know what happened, when I turned 70, I turned a page. And I'm still turning, the page is not completely turned, but I realized I probably only got about 20 more years that I'm going to hang around on this plane. Then I'm going to be a badass and Big Sandy. I'm going to come back and pull your hair. I'm going to come back and put some sweet grass by your nose. But I need to take better care of myself. So that's what I'm doing. Last night I slept 8.5 hours. Got up once to use the bathroom and just slept, and I was dreaming, and they were just beautiful dreams about the things that I'm looking forward to, and the what I did yesterday. Yesterday was such a beautiful day. I couldn't run across the border. I just had to run over to Cardston because I've got company coming, and so I bought them new powwow chairs. Because they fly on a plane. You can't fly on the plane with all your powwow chairs. But then you hear I crack up because Blackfeet's. Ooh, any powwow, you got to have your name. You got to have your name on that chair. And, so no one will steal your chair. So what does Badass Auntie do? Isn't that a beautiful chair? It's called Outdoor Revival. So I took it and I went in and got my paints and I put New Breast on it. But the one that I really like, and I'm just sharing with you, these are just like fun things to do. I had such a good time because I felt like I was a little child again. The chair that I'm sitting in. Check this out. I found some red glitter. Woo! NEWBREAST, New Breast. And I'm not done. I think I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna get some. I got acrylics. Anyway, I was like decorating this chair, so no one's gonna steal my powwow chair. Yeah. And and I'm lending it to. And I guess she's my other daughter. I adopted her, and now I'm meeting her new partner. And I'm gonna adopt her. Because they're on a vacation, but they're coming to pray. They're on a vacation, but they're coming to pray. And they're coming to, I think Lori sewed them some, ceremonial dresses, even for the granddaughter. And they're going to pray. And they're going to be sitting in those chairs. and they're going to be praying. And I just thought, man, how life doesn't get any better than that. That pacing of that we have the privilege to go to our ceremonies, that we have the privilege to pray, that we have the privilege to go out and pick medicine, that we have the privilege to pray for all those that we love. And I'm just going to ask you, one of the things I'm going to ask you to do in this pacing is pray for the people you don't like. Pray for them 15 days in a row. Don't carry those grudges. Just if you don't like them, pray for them. You don't have to hang around them. Pray for them. And I had a sponsor like that. When someone really irked or irritated, she'd say, pray for them for 15 days in a row. God damn it, she was right. Because it evaporates. Don't carry the grudges, because they're just doing it's between them and their Ishtabatapiyo, their God. It's between them. They're on their journey, and you can't judge it. It's their journey, and it's between them and Creator. They're going to go on their journey. You can influence it, but just be kind. I love, Reggie Croshoe and Rose, they used to talk about sanctified kindness, lateral kindness. Just be kind. Be kind to strangers. Be kind to people. So I was practicing it the other day. They had Logan Pass. The tourists were all here. And and I just, in my mind, without even the words, I just was thinking kind thoughts instead of, get the hell out of here, eh? Tired of you tourists. No, I was saying welcome. Welcome to our beautiful land. Welcome to the glaciers. Welcome, and having that, having that be your intention, to praying for each person and to welcoming him into your territory. And Cecilia Fire Thunder, she's been calling me every morning. She goes to work at 8:00. She works at the boarding school where she went to boarding school. But she was saying, I'm not going to come to Greasy Grass. Greasy Grass is Gary Owen, Montana. I swear something's happening. All the Lakotas, they just jumped on a horse. There's nobody left in South Dakota. Nobody at Eagle Butte. Hey, all the North Dakotas, they all jumped on a horse. And they're over here and they're celebrating because we wiped that Custer guy out. Yellow hair. Hey, he's short too. They wiped him out. But it's the 150th anniversary of the Battle of Bighorn. And the Indians won. So check it out. So Cecilia was calling, and she always used, because she's I think Medicine Crow she's related to. A lot of the Lakota at Pine Ridge are related to. They got some relatives and blood from Crow. She would always come over and says, "Oh yeah, she's gonna be turning 80." So she said, "I'm not gonna be coming over, but I want you just to say prayers." And I think about that. We still call each other. So here I am, lighting a smudge real early in the morning for Greasy Grass. The ride, the horses, the people, the songs they're singing, and they're all young. They're riding horses, and they're going to have 150th anniversary of unity, of collective fight against Custer, of collective fight against soldiers, of a collective fight of protecting your land and protecting your women and protecting your language and protecting your ways. So this morning I was up, and Cecilia said, just pray for them every day, because just think how it was back then, 150 years ago. And that's that pacing. 150 years ago, they could just kill us. And nothing was done. There was no justice. But that's not true today. Today we have our ceremonies. Today we have our songs. Today we have our collective fight. And so, all those horseback riders, and they were all had their flags, and they were all singing songs. And I was thinking of Orville, because being in Orville's presence in that white buffalo calf pipe, there's a lot of holy people over there, and they're praying. So pray with them, and that's the pacing now. That's the time, and that we're in is Indian has to help Indian, indigenous has to help indigenous. And if it's with your prayers, if it's with your getting extra medicine, if it's giving, I met the baby I met yesterday. I really met the father for the first time. And of course, he's a hard worker. He has to drive far to work. And so I said, well, hold on a second. And I went and got a braid of sweetgrass out of my truck, and I prayed with it, and I said, you don't know me, but nistu I'm a ganaxtimatan, I'm a coming poismanix, and I'm just me, and my prayers, I'm gonna have prayers, and I'm saying a prayer into the sweetgrass, and I want you to put it in the front of your truck right here so that you see it. And so I said a prayer in black for him, and then I said, on the fourth time, I'm going to give it to you, and then you put it in your truck, and it's that you have a long, healthy life, that you get to raise this daughter, that this daughter teaches you the grace, the gentleness that you have to raise little girls in, and that you have to cherish them, that you have to make them feel safe, and anyway, he took it and he put it in his truck, and I go, things are going to go good, because he had a long drive. And that's the kind of stuff. Bring extra sweetgrass with you, bring extra sage, bring extra tobacco, like make little tobacco ties and give them to people, a prayer, put prayers out. I was just, because here, a lot of people get 2 yards of 100% cotton. Different colors mean different things, and they bring them to the Sundance. And so go and get 2 yards, and say, make it for something. That grandmother yesterday, she's got 20 weeks of chemo for a cancer. I pray for her every day. I just love. I gave her this healing bracelet. It's all coral, because the coral is a healing stone, and she's wearing it. And I said, this is I'm so glad you're wearing that. Gift people. A gift is not a gift unless you give it away. It's just, come on, Indians. All the Indians I know got a lot of stuff and hoarders and all that. Give stuff away if you really like it. That was the thing. I always have these thoughts. I was cleaning the house, and I have to show you what I found that used to belong to Harold Belmont. I was going through, I gave a bunch of blankets to the company that's going to be visiting, and I check this out. This was, and I remember the times that Harold would wear this. He would, even when he was in his wheelchair, even when Harold was in his wheelchair, he would come into all of the gathering of Native Americans, and he would be wearing this medallion. And when he passed away in 2017 in February. And so at the 4th memorial, the family gave me Harold Belmont's medallion. Look at it. It's so beautiful, and so I told myself, I'm put this out so I can wear it on Wellness Wednesday. But even this, look at the symbolism. What is the symbolism in this? The 4 colors, the medicine wheel, they say. And it's so bright, and it's beaded, it's got a real crimson red beads, real dark black, real, all of the colors here. And I'm sharing that with you. So I was thinking, I better start wearing this, and saying what Harold used to say, because, Harold would always say, What did you see? What did you hear? And how did it make you feel? Most great facilitators that do healing in Indian country, they all say that. What did you see? What did you hear? And how did it make you feel? And that's the Harold Beaumont process and the gathering of Native Americans. Oh, my hummingbird just came and all the hummingbird feeders just buzzed my head. So just think about that. What is the legacy? And, in this pacing, whose legacy are you keeping alive? It's of course you keep your grandparents' legacy. Of course you keep your parents' legacy, the good parts of your parents. But then, some people admire, Maya Angelou. Some people admire Obama and Michelle. Some people like Spike Lee, one of my favorites. But whose legacy? And what's your legacy? What's your legacy? Punk ass, eh? I just laugh. What is it? Kindness? Is it compassion? Do you give a compassionate heart? Is your legacy, you make good? One of my aunties, man, she was just the best bannock maker of ever. Aunt Carol Arrow Topknot. And she used to, for extra money, she would sell big old fluffy bannocks in Browning, Montana for $5. But everybody always, when she passed, they always said, "Aw, that was my favorite bannock." But then, if their legacy is, they make good fry bread. I was thinking about when Muffy just whipped up 119 fry breads for the 50th wedding anniversary of Daryl, Joe, and Ann. What's their legacy? It might be beating, it might be sewing, it might be breaking horses. Doug, we lost Doug last August, but his son, the 86th annual Birch Creek Father's Day Rodeo, he rode, and you know what? He came out in his little cowboy hat, and he looked like a little mini-me like Doug. And I tell you, and now I heard that they want him to ride up in, he's 9, but they want him to ride up in Sixikai and the rodeo up there, and they're going to take him. A lot of the Canadians want him to ride because he looks just like Doug. He's just like a clone of Doug. And that's just so beautiful. He's keeping his dad's legacy alive. And you know what? He knows what he's doing. I was looking at him yesterday, and for a long time he didn't have teeth, and his teeth are coming in, and even his teeth look like Doug's teeth. His skin looks like Doug, like his dad. He looks like Doug. He looks like his mom, but he looks like Doug. And we are the legacy. We are the reincarnation of our ancestors. And so in that pacing, what did they do well? I was thinking about, Minoke and Dad and just Grandpa, how kind. All the old time Indians, just think about their legacy of their kindness, of their gentleness. They never spoke fast, and they ate raw kidney with salt. That is just the weirdest thing. I was driving to our Father's Day gathering, and I just had this overwhelming, I got, where could I get a fresh kidney? The IGA in town, maybe it's not but wherever they're going to butcher, I'm not going to just jump out with a knife, eh? Badass auntie, where's my knife? I need some fresh raw kidney and salt. But I just had this that's in your DNA. That's epigenetic. I just needed some bloody kidney with salt on it, and just the blood just running out of your mouth. And oh man, I love raw kidney and salt. Eh? That's Indian. You pretend Indians, you fake ass Indians, eat some bloody raw kidney with salt. But what is the legacy? Like and that's why I guess I jumped in the water and I got excited because my mother and I are going to go on a road trip to the Indian Relay. And you know, and I just said, okay, we're going to make it happen. So then, sorry if I was scheduled to come and work with you. I have to cancel, reschedule. I'm going to take my mom on a road trip. And just because that was the legacy. You know, my mom, we might have rough stuff. You know, my dad went to 43 treatment programs. But we'd go and visit him, and one of the treatment programs, I guess it was where they put the crazy people in Sonoma. It was kind of, we used to have to go by Russian River. So we'd pack a picnic and go on a road trip, and we would go swimming, and we would camp, and then we'd go visit Dad in treatment. And I think about that. My mom, it was never bad. We loved Dad, and we understood that he had a disease, but would just tell him we love you, would go visit him. But then we would go on a road trip. I remember in the 64 flood, when we finally came home, and they had bought a secondhand car, and we went on a road trip. You know, and yeah, we had some, bologna and bread sandwiches and some chips, but we'd had fruit. We went on a road trip. And I can remember, camping out, or one time just wanting to crawl underneath the vehicle, this vehicle that we had in my sleeping bag. I just wanted quiet and sleep, but waking up with your family when you're camping, going on a road trip. But Jay, so badass auntie, I'm gonna get a hotel with air conditioning now, and that's part of the self-care. Taking care of yourself on your road trips, taking care of yourself, going out to dinner, taking care of yourself, dressing up, having good conversation with your families. Just do it. Let that be, but I'm just getting excited. So what is, and kind of like winding down today in the pacing, what are your goals for yourself for the summertime? Because like right now, I'm jumping in this lake every day for the next 4 months. Because sometimes I'll jump in October, but it gets cold and it's a plunge. And so, but what are the next 4 months? What are you going to do? Make time, because, I posted a picture of some sage, and someone said, can you send me some of that? I get 100 requests for that. I'm not like, in Indian Amazon or whatever. Go out and pick sage. Make it a goal. Go out and make it just the day where you go gather medicine. Make it the day where you just go pick berries. Make it the day where there's a lot of licorice root right now, and I know that the root that the bears like to dig it up and just devour it because it tastes like licorice. Like I love black licorice. Go out and get, the roots that you need to get. Get the, I was just looking at, there's horsetail growing, and now the red clover. You can just we ate the dandelions, now you can eat the red clover. Just, go, make it a day where, yesterday my goal was to just go up to, because our money's worth, twice as much in Canada, go to the hardware store and get new powwow chairs. Go out, make it a day, where you're fishing. I have a lot of our people they just go out and fish and visit. Go out and be in the boat, motorized, or they go out and they kayak. Make it a day, where you just get to stare at the clouds. Look at this one cloud. When we were children, we used to lay on the hill and see that. Now, what do you think that cloud's turning into? I think it's turning into a little terrier, eh? We used to see things in the cloud, and we would say, because look at it we would tell stories, would lay on our back and would tell stories by how the clouds were forming, in the sky. And do that with your children. Instead of staring at your screen, and it's okay, let them stare at the screen. Go out and lay on your back and look at the clouds and tell a story. Tell some Napi stories. Tell some Iktomi stories. Tell some rabbit stories. Tell some coyote stories. you know, make it a day like that, because again, it's your birthright to thrive and to live joy. And so in this pacing, and I probably, oh yeah, I need to go in and doctor my wino nose, eh? It's getting really red, so I need to I'm not supposed to be out in the sun, so I'm going to go wash it, and I'm going to go put the medicine on. I have to do this for 6 weeks, and then they'll decide to do a biopsy. So say prayers. So the last things I'd like to share with you around this pacing is, and add forgiveness to it. If there's someone that, maybe there wasn't good feelings between you, go and shake their hand and start visiting with them in a good way. Go and shake their hand and have forgiveness. Gift them. Give them something. Buy them a meal. When you go into, they're always, if there's elders, pay for their meal. Or there's, give them $20 and say, get something good for yourself. Get something to eat. That is what we need to do. It's like the collective kindness to each other, the collective giving to each other, and listening to each other, giving that time to hear someone, to hear some of their story. And I just, what did you see? What did you hear? And how did it make you feel? I can't, Harold, his kindness, the kindness he gave me. He was in 1979. He was the first elder at an Indian Health Service conference in Albuquerque, New Mexico, that I seen. He rolled in with his wheelchair, and he had a smudge. He had a smudge, and he went all around the room, and he smudged all the IHS officials and all the federales and all the tribes, and no one said anything. It was the first time I saw a smudge. I mean, this isn't the ceremony, but in a federally funded conference, he brought a smudge in 1979. And, I could get tears about it because he was bringing back our ways. He was bringing back, what works for us. A good smudge. And I think, the legacy of many teachers that say, if things aren't going right or things don't feel right, just light a smudge. Just light a smudge. And Creator knows your heart. Creator knows what's going on. You don't even have to verbally say it. Creator hears telepathically what you're asking for when you light a smudge. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I want you to be lighting a whole bunch of smudges. Just lighting smudges. All those smudge boxes that Sheridan Ground made, just be lighting smudges. And, so with that, just think about, I'm glad I jumped. I might jump in the water again. It's just so beautiful right now. And that's for the next 4 months. The next 4 months is going to be beautiful because when I'm home, like Indians, we don't have air conditioning. We just jump in the water. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is just jumping in the water. But I hope, welcome to Native Wellness Wednesday. We come on every week, positive, productive, and proactive. And I just wanted to come today to share with you about pacing and be gentle with yourself. Give yourself time. Take a vacation, take a rest, take a respite, take a meditation, and light a smudge. So until we see you next week. So kita kito matsuno.